Welcome everyone to the Phoenix Report. I am Jack Connor, and with me today is my buddy Al Khouri.
Hello, everyone.
Now, normally I have my buddy Seamus Pouts to do these. I know these have been a lot of fun for me to do. In particular, these are almost like kind of a sub thing within my podcast. Like I'll typically do one-on-one interviews or like reactions to movies, and this is something I started doing a little while ago with Seamus, and it just became kind of a fun thing to do. If you're listening to this for the first time, it was kind of inspired by a podcast called Go Bayside with April Richardson, where she and a guest would sit down and watch episodes of Saved by the Bell and like kind of critically break it down. And so I decided to do this with another early 90s TV show that I grew up with, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original season.
Why not?
And so I know there are other podcasts that do like every episode of it. Shout out to the Ranger Danger podcast in Australia. Those guys do a pretty good job with that. I don't do every single episode with it just because I don't have that kind of time. And my podcast isn't just about that. But this is something that I've had a lot of fun doing. And normally Seamus and I do it together, and we just... I don't know if it's fun for you guys to listen to, but it's fun for us to do. So we're just going to keep doing it and posting them if people keep asking for it, But in the meantime, I decided to get Al here, and we decided to watch episode 12 of the first season, and this episode is called Power Ranger Punks, and the original air date was September 20th, 1993. And Al, you're a couple years older than I am. What has been your experience with Power Rangers? Have you ever seen the show? Or, I mean, I'm sure you're aware of it, being a father of a young kid.
Oh, absolutely. When I was younger, I used to come home from school and watch Power Rangers, aside from many other afternoon shows that I would watch. But yeah, Power Rangers wasn't a huge thing for me, but it's been up there on the level as far as daytime watch TV shows on Primetime Network.
Gotcha. Do you remember if it was like the original like season or?
I can't tell you really. I really can't. I used to watch bits and pieces of it every now and then. I'd tune in late. I'd tune in early and bow out late on episodes and stuff like that, but it'll definitely bring back a couple of memories for me.
Okay, well, I mean, and again, I don't know, you may not remember this episode or not. I don't know if you originally saw it, but this one I thought, because you and I work, with the music industry, the local bands and stuff, me being in a band and you being a photographer and producer and all that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
This one I thought was interesting. It was called Power Ranger Punks, and I think you'll see in a while. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hit the pause button. We're going to watch this, sort of take notes amongst ourselves, and then come back and sort of critically break it down with adult eyes, seeing this thing, and let you know what we thought.
Sounds like fun.
So stick around, and we will be right back. All right, and we're back. Al, what did you think about all that?
It was rather interesting. I'll tell
you. You shared with me something in the middle of the episode that I thought was hilarious.
No, well, yeah, I kind of had a reminiscence of the past, and I started to think about why I never really tuned into the show or
remembered a lot of it,
or remembered a lot of it, and I realize now why, because I just.
You realize, I hated this show.
That's right, yeah. I royally did. That's why I would change the channel halfway through.
Gotcha.
But it was fun watching it with you, though.
For sure. This was definitely a lot going on here. I figured this one in particular I thought was interesting for us to take a look at it, and we'll get into this in a little bit. But the episode opens where they're the five kids, the Rangers. They're at the park. They're playing a little bit of volleyball.
And that's what I don't understand. Just from the beginning, that's why. I mean, I always look at everything in a cinematic point of view, and the point on that particular part, just opening, is they're playing beach volleyball in a park surrounded by mountains. It's like, what, they couldn't get the beach? They couldn't rent out the beach?
Right, yeah, because they've had episodes where they've gone to the beach before, but I mean, I guess I think you see that in some parks where they'll have like a pit or just like an area with sand and volleyball nets.
But I mean, they could have played baseball or softball or something,
right?
Park related, frisbee even.
And it's interesting because it was like strictly like a 2-on-2 volleyball, and there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
So it's like originally it was like 4 of them playing. Kimberly was not in the first game, but then she and Billy like tag out like WWE style.
Yeah.
you know? I guess for like the next round, I guess they were playing just several games. I don't know who was keeping score, but it was like Jason and Trini on one side, Billy and Zach, and then Kim went in for Billy.
I still, even after watching the whole entire episode, do not know what the relationship between playing volleyball and the actual episode. I mean, what did I miss something? I don't know.
I don't know, because they go back to, like, they have a callback to volleyball at the end of the episode.
At the end, yeah. And building us up to that joke?
Because, like, I don't know, but, like, I had assumed that, like, okay, maybe they're just hanging out after school.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I guess they just felt like playing some volleyball, hanging out at the park, just, having a good time.
A lot of work just to get that little side note.
But So as they're doing it, like the music is very much like 60s Beach Boys, like almost sounds like Saved by the Bell, especially like the Malibu Sands episodes.
It was very uncopyrighted material.
Yeah, very much public domain,
yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so I felt that was kind of weird. It's like they were doing the 2-on-2, but there were 5 of them there. So I guess they're just trying to make it work. Mm-hmm. So that's all fine. Then we cut to Rita Repulsa's moon base, to the Japanese footage, of course. Right. And we see Babu, one of her henchmen. He's like mixing up potions. So he has this whole side thing going on. And I guess unbeknownst to Rita, and it's like Rita doesn't even factor into this episode all that much.
Another thing, going back to reminiscing on times when I subtly watched the show before, always wondered why Babu sounded like Bullwinkle on meth.
He really, yeah, he had this like really like up their voice like that, and he sounded like Uncle Joey from Full House.
Yeah,
doing Bullwinkle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, but it's like apparently like he's like very talented with like mixing up potions and stuff, which we had never seen before and really don't see in any other episodes besides this one.
He's a man of all trades.
Clearly. So he's like ambitious and thinking like, hey, maybe Rita will reward me with my own planet.
Yeah.
Which is like, does she have other planets that she's taken over? I don't think so.
She's got a closet full of them.
I doubt it. I mean, she's having a hard time with Earth because she's spent like 12 episodes so far and she can't deal with these teenagers.
She's got it.
So...
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
So right off the bat, like I don't know, like I guess he's got,
She's not very productive at all.
It's like why would you tie your horse to Rita? Because obviously she's not giving him results.
Right.
So.
They need to find another villain that could.
Right. Like it's like you need to find a better boss or better place to work.
With children,
But he thinks he might get his own planet, which I thought was funny. Mm-hmm. And so he mixes up a punk potion.
Right.
Now I thought that I guess the idea behind this is that it turns whoever consumes this potion, you become I guess punks or like bullies or something, which is like a really specific thing. Like
they said earlier that they've gone punk.
Right.
That's not punk. That's
it's weird seeing like what these writers
more like a-hole than punk.
What these like writers' interpretation of like punk rock and kind of like alt looking people are.
Punk rock is punks are lovable. Every punk
I mean,
he's always been a lovable dude to want to hang out, have fun.
Right. I mean, I kind of it's one of those things like I don't consider myself a punk rocker, but like I'm a musician. I play in a hard rock band.
Right.
And, like, I meet a lot of people who kind of, like, have, like, sort of that particular style about them and the way they dress or maybe piercings and tattoos and all that.
They're rough, but I'm talking about genuine-wise. They are they're really good friends.
I just think that's a weird stereotype because usually, I don't know how it was in the early 90s, but, like, nowadays, like, you don't really see too many, like, bullies in high school, like, who... kind of dress that way. It's usually like the preppy kids, or at least that's always been my experience to it. I mean, sometimes imagine you have like kids who are like dressed up like punk who are like nasty and like and just like complete like garbage people. I mean, look, there's like that in any group, but like,
well, bullies usually can't afford clothing like that, really.
Right.
And
so
jewelry and the
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I guess there's definitely some merit to it. Like, I could see how like people, they might have a bit more of an edge to them. It might be intimidating to other people, but it's just, I thought it was really funny just to kind of play off that stereotype.
I thought so too.
Yeah, it was just strange because I don't know because like I don't know. I guess I ran into a few kids growing up who were kind of like that, but I mean, but not as.
But they weren't bullies though.
But like I never thought of that as like a punk thing,
Right.
I don't know. But,
yeah. More like a punk ass thing.
Right.
Yeah. But they can't say that on a children's show.
Yeah,
so,
no.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting like, thing they went after. So Babu flies down to Earth, I guess on this like old-timey bicycle, like a penny farthing is what they call those.
Yeah,
I mean, they were trying to because they're trying to use the Japanese footage for all this.
Right.
And
to save money.
And he even says things like, "Oh, they really ought to motorize this thing," which I thought was a funny line, because it's like, are we to assume that he like flew and pedaled his way down from the moon to Earth,
right?
Like all just too. Like using his own legs and.
I caught that too. Yeah, that was
like he's got to be in serious shape doing that.
That I'll give them that. That was the beauty of this show, is that because they didn't have a huge budget, as you can tell, but they did work with it a lot. And they tried to be creative
my God,
as
yeah,
much as
they
possible.
So
I give them merit for that.
For sure.
Work
like
with what you got. I've done it 100 times before.
Yeah, it was very much like shoestring budget, how they, especially these early episodes.
Yeah.
But they cut back to the volleyball game. Like Jason and Trini, I guess, are on a team, and they're just killing it right now. Like they're winning all the games, and so then they have the putties. So they appear out of nowhere, and they start attacking them.
I can't tell you how many times I hate it when guys in gray leotards interrupt my volleyball
right?
game.
Like
it happens all the time. It really
and it's crazy. Like whenever this happens, it's always like nobody thinks to like call the cops. Like there's no one
right.
There's no one in eyesight whenever this happens.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's
like
where are the cops?
Like yeah, Angel Grove's police department. I don't know what's going on.
No wonder we need Power Rangers running
clearly
around, because we just don't have a police force whatsoever.
Yeah, a lot of like quick cuts in this one. Like maybe they only had a few takes to film this thing, and they just needed to get some action.
I have no idea.
But like it made sense to the story, because they were trying to distract the kids while Babu, I guess, flew in on his penny farthing and dropped like the potion like from the sky. Like it somehow landed in all their cups of water, and
yeah,
so
interesting, very interesting. I
like he must have had really good aim from where he was sitting. You know what I mean?
Like I said earlier, I mean, I always thought, even as a kid, how often I would probably walk off set due to the bad acting and low budget of this program.
Right.
I would not be able to stay there.
You're just like, no, I'm out.
But like I said, I look at everything in a cinematic point of view, even when I go to the movies.
Right.
Which is a rare occasion. I'll sit there and watch how angles are.
I mean, it's one of those just things where it's like he's all the way up in the sky, like trying to put little drops of his potion into the water. Like, why not just go down to the ground while the kids are fighting? They're not looking at you anyway. Why not go there and then just put stuff in the drinks? I don't know.
They just couldn't afford that part, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, absolutely not.
But like, just keep them on the bike.
Well, that's the logical expert.
Yeah.
That's the behind the scenes answer. But it's just like in the story.
Oh,
like,
you mean in the storyline?
Yeah, why not do that?
I know.
But which I thought was funny. Kind of a little thing that I noticed, but
very funny.
So the fight ends. The putties disappear, and they're just real casual about it. Like, oh man, I could use a drink after this. So Billy and Kimberly, the two of them, it was just the two of them. They go and have drinks of water, and immediately their mood is affected. Like this thing took hold like that.
I've been there before.
Right, like
but we're not going to talk about it on this program. But I've been there before.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know what people have been putting in your drinks, but that's your business.
That's my business.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the two of them. None of the other three drink any of this infected water for whatever reason.
But
like they immediately become like, yeah, you guys are dorks, and very, very like, very just like cartoonishly like. It was funny seeing how they kind of played these characters a little bit. You could tell they were just going big, like for big reactions.
Not even
just having a lot of fun. And
not even just dorks, that geekoids and all this other like
no, volleyball. Yeah, man, volleyballs are for dorks. Yeah, it's just like very
non-relatable dialogue.
Yeah, it's just very over the top, but like. And then the rest of them are.
What is a geekoid?
I don't know.
I've never used that word ever.
No, that's like I've never heard that like not on TV. If someone like say that and like mean it and not be ironic about it.
Whatever was in that drink, I don't want to drink it because I do not want to walk
that
around calling
like dweeb.
Geekoid,
That's
dweeb.
That's like a word you never hear anymore.
Yeah, no, there's just so many.
Maybe that's like specifically a '90s thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never used any of those words, but I'm Italian. Yeah, so, Italians, we use more colorful words.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I got
passed on from generation to generation. Right, exactly. You hear grandma stub her toe in the back room,
yeah, you start cursing in Italian. That's another thing.
Start hearing things.
Yeah, they didn't tackle that on this one. But
Absolutely.
But yeah, like none of the other three, get the drinks, which, so it's like right there, like your plan is a little bit foiled.
Yeah.
So they're just like, what's with them? Maybe they just had too much sun, or they just kind of like, they kind of give them the benefit of the doubt really quickly.
Pretty much.
Like if I was out and like a friend of mine started acting like that, and I'd be like, the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like
sure.
What got into that? Like, what is the deal here? Like, I'd be kind of pissed about it. But
it's funny though, because Power Rangers does use a lot of subliminal content, and if you think about it, they drank something and then they became a-holes, and we've come across a lot of people like that out in the
do you think this is like a secret like anti like alcohol abuse
maybe,
message
yeah,
in
like
there?
in the background there, just slightly like, hey, look, they drank something and then they became a-holes, and some people are like that.
I
some people
guarantee you've put much more thought into this episode and subtext than the writers did.
I think so. Maybe I did put it in there a little bit.
That would be pretty wild.
But like I said,
to see Power Rangers tackle something like that, like that's pretty. Right. I mean, that's a good message, I guess, to send to kids, like a good cautionary tale, I guess.
And it's subliminal. It's right. Like they're not exactly telling you that. It's just something you see, and then you.
That's an interesting read out of that. I doubt that's what they were going for.
Probably not.
No, but
if they did, they're geniuses.
Yeah. So
I'll give them that.
Yeah. So yeah. So they cut back to Rita's palace. And, she's like congratulating Babu, and she's like, oh, well, you did it. You poisoned, 2 of them. You didn't get all 5 of them, but, 2's not bad. So that's a start. So she goes to Finster, the guy who makes the monsters, and so they make the Terror Toad, which...
Terror Toad.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, we need a new monster. What have you got? He's like, how about the Terror Toad? We'll make that. Apparently, they have used a monster like that before and had success on it on another planet.
Oh, yeah.
Which is interesting because it's like, that's an interesting backstory. Which again, it's like how successful have they been over the years,
or how unsuccessful have they been?
I don't know if the show ever really answers that or goes back into their backstory, but we're assuming that they've done it for a while before the show.
Yep, I have no idea.
So the next day we're at we're at the high school.
Right.
And Jason and Zach and Trini are just kind of in their locker, like, yeah, have you guys heard from Billy and Kim? They're like, no, I hope they're okay. And just like, again, they're like really giving them the benefit of the doubt, and they immediately think that they're sick, rather than which like they're good friends because they're not like, dude, they were acting like jerks the other day.
Well, they did drink a lot the night before, so they were probably laid
It was just water too, but like they didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's not like they were having some beers, like sneaking some beers, behind school. They were just having water.
Whatever was in that drink, that's what I'm saying. Whatever was in that drink.
It's like they weren't like slipping. Know. They weren't like slipping ecstasy in there and just like having a bad trip or whatever. I doubt it.
I hope not.
So they're back at the school, and we cut to Bulk and Skull, the bullies.
Right. Yes.
So,
which I never really understood them as bullies either. That was more like just a fat kid and a skinny kid that wanted to get attention.
Right. But I mean, like, I think especially in these early episodes, like they're really not cool. Like they're not nice to them, and just I think as the show went on, they kind of softened that a little bit to just be a couple goofballs. But but in this one, like they're still jerks. But so like Bulk is opening his locker. And there's just, like, all this, like, food that pours out of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what the heck was all that stuff?
Like, I get when you're a kid, like, maybe he's a little bit messy. And maybe might, like, be keeping, like, stuff in there. But it's, like, there's, like, unopened food in there. And it's all spilling out. Like, look, I get he's the fat kid.
Exactly. But
it's, like, there were, like, links of sausage in there. And, like, popcorn. And, like, I saw an Eggo waffle in there.
They
like,
were having fun with it. They were like, this is the fat kid. We got to make fun of the fat kid. So we're going to make fun of the fat kid.
And it's just like, it almost seems like they put, like, even more in there than a locker would usually hold just for, like, dramatic effect. And he's, like, falling over it. And, it's just a big, big whoopsie-daisy moment.
It was incredible.
Yeah, it just... It was just that one thing. It lasted maybe like all of 30 seconds, but they really milked that gag for all they could.
Oh, yeah. They really put it in.
So then Billy and Kim, they come in, and they are fully punked out. Like, they have, like, the new wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
Which it's like...
Which we go back to the wardrobe. Like.
Yeah, which I'm like, I wonder, like, how this... Because it's like, I guess if we're to assume this is, like, the day after the volleyball thing, and just, like, the next day at school where they meet up with him, like... They had to go out and, like, buy new clothes.
Yeah, because they don't dress like that all the time.
No,
they're really preppy. But the Power Rangers are always, like, really preppy kids.
I mean, not even preppy, but they're just, like, kind of normal kids. Like, really. I mean, they're always wearing the colors that their Power Ranger suits are. That's a thing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because,
gotta do that.
Yeah, like, all their clothes are always the same color. Of course. But, like, they had to go out.
That's what I do.
Like, they had to go out to Hot Topic or wherever it was and just, like, pick up all these chains. Yeah, like, they had to... Or like a thrift store or something. Like, they had to put the work
Spencer's.
in. Yeah. They had to go out, and Kim...
We're not plugging.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, Billy, like dude, Billy worked out. Like, he was jacked up a little bit.
Worked out,
yeah, he was a good athlete,
you
know, in real life.
Who's hiding what underneath.
Right?
You know.
And Kim was looking pretty cute in her little, like, rocker chick.
I don't care what Kim wears.
Yeah, Amy Jo Johnson.
She's the reason I tuned in.
Yes, she was the reason many young men went through puberty in the 90s. So,
in fact, speaking of wardrobe and everything else like that, you ever notice whenever they switch to their Power Ranger gear, you never see them change their clothes. It's just they stick their hands out and they say the words, and then the next they cut and they're in their Power Ranger. I've always wanted to see like especially with the Pink Ranger, a wardrobe malfunction.
Oh, wow. Okay, you took this. Yeah, you want,
or maybe just like mid costume. All of a sudden, the camera switches on. She's like, "I'm not ready yet." I mean, I would have bought the DVD set.
That would be a completely different show. I think.
Yes.
It's like little something for the dads watching.
Throw it behind the scenes on the DVD collection.
That is a good question, because when they morph. Like they immediately have the suits on. Like, where do their other clothes go?
Is it underneath? I want to know these questions.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Did they just like neatly fold them and put them off to the side?
I mean, I'm assuming it's instantaneous.
Oh yeah. I want clothes like that.
Right? Like
the reason why I'm always late to meet you up, Jack, is because I'm trying to put my clothes on.
Well, there you go.
My pants on anyway.
Well, I'm glad you.
Everyone knows about my pants. Anyway, go ahead.
What does that even mean?
In the rock world out here in Central Florida, everybody, I don't know, especially Mr. Chris Marsh, I think he's the one who's been spreading this around a lot, but I told him one time, a long time ago, when he called me, that hold on, I got to put pants on, because when I edit film and music and video and everything, I tend to not be wearing pants because I'm at home. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
And I don't have the pants on. And, yeah, he kind of ran with it, and now everybody thinks that I don't wear pants 90% of my life, which is not true. It's only...
Well, I mean, every time I've seen you, you've had pants or shorts on, so it's
outside.
Yeah.
Of course.
So,
But
thankfully, so that's the case.
And thankfully to both of us.
Right, yeah, thankfully really for everyone. But
hey, whoa,
so
whoa.
what?
All right.
No, but
Back to the show.
Yeah, back to Power Rangers. So they come in, completely new wardrobe because I guess they've gone punk.
Yes.
So that's interesting, and I mean it wasn't a bad look. I mean Billy had like bandana and like rather than like the glasses, he has like sunglasses on, like complete transformation.
Right.
They come in and they're like kind of pushing like other kids out of the way. They're just being total jerks about it.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, which like yeah,
I don't usually see that.
Yeah, it's a shame that that's the stereotype of
Right.
like punks or whatever, because that's usually not the case. Usually they're the ones being bullied.
It's true. Yeah.
Rather than the other way around. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure sometimes it's the other. I mean, who knows?
Absolutely.
Maybe the writers had bad experiences with like rocker kids
Most
in
likely.
their youth. Who knows?
Probably. There have been conflicts before. We all know this.
I mean, maybe we'll see. But of course, like Kim, but yeah, they get noticed by Bulk and Skull. They're like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, there's something different about them. And I mean, Skull has always been in love with Kimberly. That's always a thing. So she immediately goes up and flirts with Skull. She's like, here's my kind of man. It's like, what do you say we go and tear up?
Oh yeah.
And even Skull's like confused. He's like, really? Like, am I being pranked right now? Like,
Yeah.
but he goes in. Which I thought was interesting because she goes and flirts with Skull, and I'm like, wow, even under like a different potion, Billy's in the friend zone.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Not that they were ever like a thing on the show, but like that was always an interesting.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Right. That was just kind of an interesting observation I had.
That does go with life, though.
Right.
Life
yeah.
is like that.
Hey, that happens sometimes.
The friend zone sucks.
But like I mean. I don't think it was a big deal because I never really saw like Billy show like interest in Kim like that.
No, not really. Which I don't understand that, but that may be a whole different ball game that we're not.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
phasing into.
Dude,
Yeah.
Billy had like more girlfriends on the show than like anybody.
I know.
Like he, which is ironic because the actor who played him is gay in real life.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
So that's
that was an interesting thing, but and Billy actually like roughs up Bulk a little bit, like kind of like pushes him up against the wall.
That was actually amazing to see that.
And it's just like, wow, you think Bulk would like never mess with them again?
Yeah.
After that.
And Bulk, yeah, like you said, Bulk kind of. I'm trying to think of the right wording here.
Yeah, he was like
whooshied out.
Yeah, he was like totally intimidated. It's like, oh, okay, we won't bother you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they run off.
That was funny.
So, interesting little role reversal. You could tell that the actors were having fun with it, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's great.
Yeah,
great.
I mean,
I like seeing that.
But yeah, I mean, it's very over the top, very cartoony. But like, you can tell, like they just go all in with it. Like, especially Amy Jo,
Absolutely.
as as like the crazy punk girl, which is interesting seeing some of the like later on. I have a few observations about that, but they cut back to Zordon's base, where I guess. They're watching them through the viewing globe. They're like, oh boy, looks like Billy and Kimberly have gone punk. Like,
yeah.
And which makes me think, like, how long
said it?
How long have they been watching them? And if so, like, why did they not like say anything the day before when it happened?
Right.
If they're like, if we're to understand that they're watching them all the time, which I don't know if they are or not, but they certainly like were watching them during the school day for some weird reason.
Yeah. I caught that too. They didn't really jump on it when they actually transformed. Instead they waited a whole day.
An entire like half day goes by at least.
Oh, by the way. Yeah.
But Zordon immediately knows. He immediately realizes something's wrong. He's like, oh, they're probably under a spell. By the way, like, I know what the antidote is. Like, which makes me believe, like, okay, they've run into this like before,
right?
Which is weird.
It wasn't.
It's like, oh, we need to find the singing squash, which is an excuse for them to use just more like Japanese footage from Super Sentai,
right?
Where they show it's like, oh, years ago I ran into this, and it shows like.
And that was that footage was actually portrayed on a fisheye lens.
Yeah.
With a background overlaid.
Yeah,
behind
in the viewing globe, and it was actually
make it look like it's a ball with visuals coming out of the ball, but it's not really.
That's the thing with the Japanese stuff. Like, they would go to actual locations. Like, you could tell they actually spent money on it.
Absolutely.
This show did not.
No, they just took and recycled and tried
100%.
to use special effects that weren't really that special.
So they immediately realize something's wrong. It's like, okay, we got to get them in here. So they teleport all 5 of them in. This is probably in the middle of a school day. So they just took them right out of school.
Yeah.
Which,
where are the parents?
That for sure would have gotten them in trouble.
Where are the parents? I've always asked that question every time I watched Power Rangers. Do they have parents? Are there parents?
They do.
Maybe I missed them.
They only show up in like 1 or 2 like episodes, but it's like...
And who played them?
I'm just some extras, really. Just like some,
some randoms.
Bunch of randos they had on there. Because it's all like non-union, by the way. Like,
okay.
Yeah, they shot so much.
Say no more.
They shot so much of the show on the cheap. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they teleport them. They put Billy and Kim in this like prison that they got for him. This like force field. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So which
is pretty interesting.
And when Billy and Kim get there, they just continue to act dumber and like dumber. They're like, it makes me think like a side effect is like okay, they are mentally challenged at this point.
I think that's when they started really using the word geekoid and all that. It's when they were in there.
And Kim has a really funny line. When we get out of here, we are going to kick your sorry buns.
Yeah, what was that?
That made me laugh out loud.
It's like they really stretched to make sure they didn't upset the FCC.
Like is butt too on the nose?
It's just too much. It's too much. We got to tone it down. You know?
Right. Right. Like they started just like just cackling at stuff like Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Which was timely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is '93.
It was right at the same time. Yeah.
So we immediately find out why they particularly picked Billy and Kim, because the Terror Toad, starts going out. So the other 3 morph into action. So it's like they wanted to do that so that they'd have an excuse for why Billy and Kim weren't with them at the beginning, because they just have the red, yellow, and black.
Yeah, they had to
Rangers
separate the Rangers.
So they just needed an excuse to get them off the. That's how they got around with the footage.
Absolutely.
So Jason, Zach, and Trini, they morph and they start fighting the Terror Toad, which. Terror Toad's a pretty scary looking monster.
It was.
Like it was pretty creepy looking. Like they.
I'm not gonna say that the costuming was well done, but because
for what they had to work with, honestly,
Yeah, it's kind of like a trash can with a costume on it.
Yeah, just a lot of like foam and latex and stuff, and
But
and a lot of that is credited to the Japanese show, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
So yeah, but it like immediately eats them.
I know a lot of people out there are probably listening to this and thinking to themselves, well, guys, it just like you said, accredited to the Japanese program.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe all this cheese and low budgeting that we like to call low budgeting over here, maybe they were trying to go together with the Japanese type.
I don't know.
I know there's a lot of different types of cinematography out there, and some of it may look like it's low budget or amateur to certain other people, but it's actually a style.
I feel like the Japanese footage, like they did a lot more with what they had than what the Americans did with theirs.
I'm trying to make excuses for them.
Because I actually went and saw the original Japanese show that this was adapted from.
Yeah. And
I've seen that, and they really spent some. The effects weren't great.
Yeah.
Even by 92, 93 standards, but honestly, you can tell they put a lot of effort into it. Everything from the stunt work to the
absolutely,
to the locations, and it was pretty well done for what it was.
The actual movie that just came out a little while ago of Power Rangers, that was very, very well done.
I enjoyed that movie.
If they would have made the television show like that, I probably would have watched it a lot more intuitively. But
I still feel that movie was underrated. It kind of came and went.
I think it was. I think people should go out and take a look at it one more time and rent it or whatever and bring it home and watch it, because I was very surprised at what it was. My wife was like, "Oh, let's watch the Power Rangers movie," and I'm like, "I don't know about all that." I was impressed.
Yeah, it was solid. And those of you listening, I did a review on that movie. Go back and listen to that. So check that out, that episode out if you like. But
Excellent. I'm gonna
but
check
yeah.
that out too.
So in like the fight scene, like Trini gets eaten like immediately, which is creepy looking. Like, and that's a creepy like notion to think that she gets like swallowed whole by this thing.
That's what I'm saying. Tongue comes out, grabs her, brings her in, and
Like,
there she goes.
how are
down
you
the
not?
hatch.
How are you not dead by that point?
Yeah. And even after they swallowed him, it looked like they did a pan back.
Yeah, and you'd see the stomach, and you'd have the helmet kind of like superimposed to like the outside of the stomach.
Yeah, like you could see it, like in him, but like coming out of him a little. I don't know, like more.
Kind of, yeah, kind of like a cheap, version. It's like, okay, like they shrunk down somehow, and
weird, very weird.
so
It was nice though.
so Alpha, the robot, has to go get the singing squash in a pocket dimension, and yeah, Kim calls Zordon a big green geekoid, which was hilarious.
Right. There goes the geekoid again.
Which, like, first of all, Zordon's not even green, so that's funny.
That's just interesting.
Doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. But yeah, geekoid is like hilarious word.
Yeah.
To hear that.
They used it a couple of times in this episode, and then they used renditions of it. Like
so Zordon conveniently happens to locate a pocket dimension that has a singing squash, and they teleport Alpha to it. Now it's interesting to see. This is clearly American footage because they went to like a soundstage, got a few fog machines. Laid down some like black plastic wrap, like you know how it looks like what they make like black garbage bags out of, but like, and like I used to work at an arena, like I remember seeing like how they would use that to like tarp up like seats to like block off.
It was like black painter's plastic or something.
Yeah,
drop.
It was like a black tarp.
Yeah,
and that clearly was on this soundstage with like some mood lighting and fog machines. And like a little like makeshift like garden piece.
Like I said, just horrible.
Again, they could have just like stepped outside of the studio, gotten some outdoor footage there, but no, they went to this thing, and like the putties try to attack Alpha, which was great. Like Alpha just like pushes a button and just tasers them immediately.
Right.
Which is amazing. It's like, oh my god, like I had no idea Alpha had it in him.
I know. Why doesn't he go out and fight?
Like, really, he should be on the battlefield.
Yeah, give the Power Rangers a day off. Let him
let the robot take a few hits or whatever.
He's definitely got some spunk to him.
Yeah. So he grabs the singing squash that he makes the antidote out of, and he transports back to the command center, mixes it into a drink, and gives it to Billy and Kim. Now you would think, like in their state, because they're just like being complete a-holes. You would think they would put up more of a fight, be like, I don't want to drink this crap, and like throw it on the ground, but they didn't.
Or give it a little bit of a fight about it. But no, they just grabbed it, swallowed it down.
And Billy had another like funny line. It's like, why don't you take a picture? It lasts longer. Yeah. She's like, what does that even mean? Like,
that's not even in context of what's going on right now.
What are you looking at?
Jeez.
Like he especially just has that like constant like sneering face on him, which is it's
just
hilarious.
Being mean. He's just being
man.
Mean,
yeah,
trying to be as mean and
like
colorful
he doesn't do like insolent very well.
No, you could tell that wasn't his form of acting whatsoever.
No, but Kim, I mean Amy Jo, she just goes all in for it.
She's good, but like I said, and I've said this before about Power Rangers, is that Kim was like the actor.
Oh, she's clearly the best actress on the show.
She was the best actress on the show.
And she's had the most sort of successful career of all of them, really.
Oh, yeah, she did. Yeah.
I mean, which part of it isn't fair because the girl who played Trini died in a car accident in 2001, unfortunately.
True.
So we never really got to see her, but she didn't really do too much outside of the show.
Right.
But
Kim, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, she was in that show Felicity, and she's in a show called Flashpoint now, and she's had a little bit of a career.
Yes, definitely.
So
she's the most talented.
So, but like they hardly put up a fight. They drink the antidote, and immediately they're cured. And she is like so disgusted by the clothes, and I'm thinking like, hey, you look good. Like
tone it down a bit.
You know, like she's like, ew, gross, and I'm like. It's not that bad, it's fine. Okay, maybe it's not your usual style, but like let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater here. Like,
right? For real.
Like that's what I'm thinking. So they go out and they immediately morph into action and to help Jason, but Jason gets eaten by the terror toad, and Billy eventually gets eaten as well. They tried to work together. So Kim has her bow and arrow, the power bow. She kind of whips that out. And Babu kind of jumps her and pushes her out of the way, like they attempt to double team.
Yeah, but they had a list of instructions there. They had to take off the horn.
There were a few like particular like beats where it's like they had to like, okay, you got to break the terror toad's horn, then you got to stick him with an arrow just underneath like the neck.
Yeah,
which is like really specific, but
it's like I always say, when in doubt, remove a villain's horn and go for the neck. I say that.
That's true.
You say that before.
That's true. You won't stop talking about it.
Oh,
really.
I know. It's rule of thumb.
It's a good strategy. So, but like, yeah, that was a very specific note. She kind of jumps out of the way, gets her bow and arrow, and just immediately just like shoots the arrow, and it takes the horn off.
Boom.
And then she like fires like 3 arrows like right into his neck, which is like pretty badass when you think about it.
Oh yeah. No, that was really cool. That was actually pretty cool. I'll give her that. The special effects was not that cool.
I mean, it's TV budget.
It's what we call pop rocks. It was just pop rocks.
Like they had pop rocks and soda.
Yeah, and there's poof, that's it. There's just a puff of smoke, but
it got the point across.
Yeah. And they put a little bit of, but once again, we got to give them credit because this is before CGI, really went into full.
So that weakened him, and she fired like another arrow like into his mouth.
Oh yeah,
which is that's badass.
That was the cherry on top, is what.
And that frees the other 4, like they magically like appear out of it. So it's like they probably should be dead, but they're not.
Did you notice before? I believe it was before that last one got eaten. Mm-hmm. Who was it that got eaten? Billy, yeah. Billy turns to Kim and says, we have to transpose ourselves.
Yes. That's his thing. He always uses big words in conversation because he's supposed to be the brainy one.
And I just love the writers because they have Kim just turn around and go, "You mean change places?" And then they kind of like do this dance and change places on set.
Normally he'll like say something like really big words, and then it'll be Trini like translating it to the rest of them.
Yeah. I don't get it though. Like, change places? I mean, that's what they did. They changed places, literally.
Which
folks.
did nothing. They were just using like the footage. Like, okay, we need to add some lines in here.
Yeah.
Say something about switching places.
We need to move them because her hair is too reflective off the camera.
And
we need to move her to the back.
I mean, the show is paced so quickly. Like,
it is.
It's tough to like keep track of like everything that's happening because it just goes by so quickly. Yeah. It's like kids, pay attention.
Oh yeah, the camera cuts are incredible too. I mean, they jump from camera 1 to camera 3 to camera 2 to camera 1 to 3, 4, 5,
right.
1, 7, 27, sitting way in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So
I don't have that many cameras, so I can't.
So the other 4 get at they're released, but Kim just like goes like, you know what, guys, I got this, and then fires another arrow into the mouth, and that destroys the monster. Like they don't even have to get the Megazord or like even the Power Blaster or like any of like their big guns that they use to kill it. She just like pretty much takes it out herself.
Oh yeah,
which is like. Yeah, this is like if you're a Kimberly fan, like this is a good episode for her.
That is why I enjoyed this episode. I'm glad you showed me it.
Well, yeah, I know you're a big Kimberly fan.
That's the only one I tune in.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, she's cute. But so that ends like that part of the episode, and they go back to the gym and the youth center, and Bulk and Skull come in. Like Skull has like a tux on.
Yeah.
Because he thinks, and rightly so, I mean, like, because like the other day she was like asking him out, and he kind of thinks that they're going to go on a date, and he just like kind of comes in and gets like super handsy with her off the bat.
Oh yeah,
which was a little creepy. It's like, oh, slow your roll, buddy.
Can't blame him though.
And she's like, ew, no, we don't have a date, and he's like, what? I thought we did. Which like, on one hand, you kind of feel bad for the guy because it's like she kind of like flip flopped on him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he doesn't know that she was mind controlled or whatever. He just thought that she like asked him out on a date and is just being a tease.
Just way too good to be true, son.
Right.
You know.
And like his idea is like, hey, what do you say we go get some frogs' legs?
Yeah, what was that? Was that
Which
in
is like-
relation to the
Which
enemy? I don't know.
Which is just weird. They were trying to like make him like look gross and like I didn't even think about that. Yeah, is that a reference to like the
to the villain?
God, I didn't even think about that. I just thought that they were trying to make him seem like
gross.
a gross weirdo.
Yeah, who I love frog legs personally. I've had it many a time.
Have you really? I've never
Tastes
eaten
like
frog's
chicken.
legs.
They say it tastes like chicken.
Does it really?
It really does taste like chicken. Yeah.
Okay, I could see that.
You would never know unless we told you.
That's probably a hard pass for me. But
That and alligator tail's good too, but we're not going to get into that.
Interesting. All right.
Yes. But yeah, he says, let's go get some frog's legs.
And she's like, no way, get out of here, dude.
Yeah.
And he's
Bulk.
pissed, and Bulk's like, oh, why not a double date?
Yeah.
Looking at Trini, and they're like, hell no.
Trying to get that Chinese action.
So they, yeah. Well, Trini's very cute as well.
She's not too
She
bad.
was a very pretty girl.
She's not too bad at all, yeah.
For sure. But yeah, so they get mad, and the three boys are kind of like stepping in. They're like, okay, they said no. Why don't you guys get lost? Kind of defending their honor a little bit. And rather than start fighting, Bulk and Skull are like, oh yeah, well we'll show you. We'll teach you a lesson. And grab the volleyball. Let's go. They challenge them to a volleyball thing right there, which is a weird way to settle a conflict.
And that's what I'm saying. Like in the beginning of it, they're playing volleyball.
Yeah,
And then at the end,
like they have that callback to it.
I mean, were they trying to relate to that final
I
scene?
don't know, but a very volleyball heavy episode.
Yeah, like was that scene the main scene? Did they write that whole entire episode around the final scene where he challenges them to a volleyball?
I guess they just had volleyball stuff on set, and they're like, hey, we need to work this in somehow.
And she's like, I hate volleyball.
No, that's what they said at the end, because they somehow get do this giant pratfall. They get caught in there, and just it's a big stumble fall moment. Like the net falls over, they're caught in it, and they're just like, they're humiliated. Oh, I hate volleyball, and then they're all being laughed at. Freeze frame, cut to credits. That's the episode.
Yeah, and that's when I called out and said, and this show.
Yes, you hate. It's like, I hate volleyball, and you're like, I hate the show. So
no, I don't hate it. It's a great show. Like I said, when we were kids, it was awesome. I mean, to a lot of friends of mine, it was very, very awesome, and I never really got with it. I was just too busy.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I was around. I was around.
Rescue Rangers is what I watched.
Chip and Dale, yeah. Well, I mean, I was around 9 when this came on, so I think I was right in that sweet spot that they were going for. You have a couple years on me, so I could see how even back then you'd be like, this is lame.
Yeah.
Especially if you're 12, 13 or whatever it was.
Absolutely. I was more interested in the and the really cool stuff like the Batman. I don't know if everybody watched the Batman animated
Which
series.
that was on the same network.
That
was on Fox.
That's right. And that was fantastic. That was something to watch.
Oh God,
that just made me feel like it was so adult oriented.
Oh, I have that complete show on DVD, and it's just, I love that series so much, and what they did with Superman and Justice League to spin off from that.
Yes, that was my
That was just magic.
But I did creep over to Power Rangers every now and then.
For sure.
For Kim. But I mean,
Yeah, mainly. Yeah, at the end when they're in the gym practicing, Kim has
yes,
she's got a thong on over her tights.
Yes, we need to rewind that.
Yeah, it was just weird, really weird for she's supposed to be a high school girl in this, to see that you'd see that in 80s and 90s workout videos where it's
she had the Jane Fonda thing going.
Yeah,
that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Jane
thigh,
Fonda
the Suzanne Summers
or
thighs
Suzanne
of steel.
Summers,
Aerobics, 80s aerobics workout. Mm-hmm. Tights where you'd have the leotard over the long stretchy tights, but it'd be a thong, so it'd be going up her butt, but it's
very impressive.
I'm that's surprisingly revealing for a kid's show.
It was for the adults, like you said. When you pointed that out,
right? It's oh, here's a little something for the dads at home.
Yeah,
it's. Mm-hmm. So it was just a weird, thing. Again, not complaining about it, but it's just weird that they stuck that. That seems like
it's like a little Easter egg,
right?
That's all that was.
Probably inappropriate for a high school girl to be wearing, but I'm sure that happened. Back in the day. So Al, what did you think of analyzing this show?
That was great. That was fun. I appreciate you having me on.
For sure, man. Like I
podcast.
said, like this show has brought me just hours of entertainment in my life, and just especially as an adult watching it and just laughing at the ridiculousness of so many things in this show.
Well, earlier, when we just got done shooting another Florida Freaks episode earlier today. We were at the Magic Kingdom, and Jack looked over at me and said, "Hey, why don't we go shoot a podcast? We never really record a podcast. We're always wanting to, but things are always getting away. We're free this afternoon." I said, "Sure, yeah, let's go ahead and do it." And then Jack's like, "Yeah, we can watch Power Rangers."
And you're like, what?
And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, Jack. Sure, we'll watch Power Rangers, buddy."
I know, it sounds weird, but I was explaining, I'm like, look, this is the thing I've done before on the show.
Once he explained it to me, then I know.
Yeah.
Then I knew what he was saying. But at first I was like, "Yeah, all right, you want to go to your house and watch Power?" I thought we were going to do a podcast. But
I mean, well, we are, but we're doing both.
Yeah, he put it together. He showed me exactly what he was saying.
We might record some other stuff once we're done with this, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, this was fun. I hope you enjoyed it.
Very fun. Thank you for having me on.
Would you be up for doing another one of these someday? Like not right now, but
sure, I definitely would.
So yeah. But there you go. I figured the punk thing especially.
Maybe we could watch a Batman animated series. And, remark on that. I don't know.
That would be rad. We can do that one of these days.
I haven't seen those in a long time.
For sure. Well, like he hinted to. Al is the creator and CEO of Alicorp Productions. He's a filmmaker, director, producer, and just creates a lot of cool content. Like we were mentioning, he has a new YouTube show called Florida Freaks. Nice. Tell them where they can find that.
Yeah, that's youtube.com/C as in cat / Florida Freaks. And basically what we are is, despite the name, a lot of people say Florida Freaks, you're freaks. Well, we are freaks, but that's not the context here.
Right.
The context here is that it is everything that you freak out about Florida. We visit all the places around Florida that would make you freak out about it, like Disney World, Universal, restaurants, venues, nightlife, and art galleries, and not only that, even places that are outdoor, like Wakiva Falls.
Yeah,
and
for sure. If you're into if you're curious about tourism and blogs and stuff like that, and just interested in learning more about Florida, especially Central Florida, which is where we're located, definitely check out Florida Freaks. And he and I are collaborating on a few different things in the works. We're working on a show called Beyond Backstage, which is not. As of this recording, it's not up yet, but hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, it might be a thing. So, I will definitely leave links in the description.
Yeah, we're definitely taking our time with Beyond Backstage because that show has a lot of potential, and if it's done correctly, it's going to be a great show. But if we rush into it and try to get it done really quick, we already have the pilot series already, finished and filmed. We have a couple of other scheduled episodes that we should be able to jump on and get done and ready to go. We want to put together the YouTube channel and the Facebook page and all the social media associated with it. And once we get everything lined up and ready to go, we'll have Beyond Backstage with Jack and Sarah, and it will be phenomenal.
Yeah. I would love to show Sarah one of these episodes because, oh my God, Sarah's my co-host on this project that we're working on, and she's hilarious, and she would absolutely enjoy this, I think. But hopefully some of you Ranger fans out there listening enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys check out some of the other episodes that I did with Seamus. I might just put this on a separate playlist or whatever on the YouTube channel.
That'd be cool.
And again, I'm not sure when I'll even post this. I'm kind of waiting to see what the reactions are to the other episodes. So if you're hearing this, that means that you guys wanted some more. So we decided to post them. So definitely let us know if you have any particular requests for us, any particular episodes of Power Rangers, or any other show or movie that you want us to do. We'll check out anything and we'll give our reaction to it and just hopefully have fun. We're not here to make fun of anyone or tear anyone down. We're just having a good time here and not trying to disrespect any of the Power Ranger fans out there. I know a lot of you guys are. So hopefully you enjoyed it. You can check out my band at facebook.com/vertebreakerband. Check us out, Vertebreaker. We're a hard rock band. You can like me on Facebook, facebook.com/jackconnormusic. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at jackxconnor. You can email me at jackconnorpodcast@gmail.com. And, of course, like and subscribe and leave a comment. If you have any questions or comments or things that you want us to do, we want to hear from you. So for Al Khouri, this has been Jack Connor, and this has been the Phoenix Report. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you later. Bye.